This might explain the motive for murder on the murder attempt. A burglar electrocuted just posted this on my Facebook. I posted about it before, and it's a little short story I'm gonna read to you. I said I just tear gassed my attic and I got them good. This was in this was a couple weeks before the murder attempt. I was hoping the criminals would leave my home, but they didn't. I was then worried about retribution, and that following weekend is when I noticed that somebody was trying to come into my bedroom of my home. This freaked me out, as I had been reporting repeated burglaries for over a year, but the police were not doing anything about them. Now it's known that our police are working with the criminals who are rigging homes for burglary, theft, and murders. These same crimes are being reported all over the place, hidden from the public by the police and the press. I secured this door the best I could, my bedroom door, but I was worried they were going to kick it open and kill me. I suspect that is what happened to the last homeowner, Mike Lawhon, after proving the back door had been kicked open during the month that he died here in 2008, the week before the 2008 oil show started. I got an idea to put electricity on the bedroom doorknob. Keep in mind, this was an inside door, and all of my outside doors were secured with extra locks due to the crimes I'd been reporting to the police. The people in my home didn't come in from the doors, but from underground. The same hidden trapdoor that the Lieutenant Dickie used to get into my home 2 weeks later when I was shot. That's how he got inside my home without being seen, because there was a trap door in this house. The ex-wife had already told me about it. These criminals were very noisy that day, but they didn't know, but they didn't break through that door, and I believe this may have saved my life. 2 weeks later, I was ambushed and shot with my phone lines cut in a premeditated capital murder attempt. The person that shot me was in no danger, as I didn't know they were there, which proved they had came to my home to kill me. These were cold-blooded killers breaking into private homes, murdering innocent people. When I returned from the hospital, I remembered the night from 2 weeks earlier, and I looked at the obituaries to see if anybody had died on that day, which may have been inside my home. Electrocuted. I saw a 33-year-old landman attorney named Matt Hyman, but I didn't know how he died, when he died, or where. I would expect oilfield landman, to be involved in the oil show parties that I believe were going on underground. I posted about this, and his sister-in-law, Natalie, happened to be my nurse, so I asked her some questions trying to eliminate him, whether he was here or not. I asked her when Matt had died, because if it was in the morning, then it wasn't Matt in my hallway that evening when I had electricity on the bedroom doorknob. I found out that he died at the same time I put electricity on the doorknob, so that didn't eliminate him. I then asked her how he died, because if he died in a car wreck or a plane crash, then I knew it wasn't Matt, but she told me that he died of a surprise heart failure that nobody knew he had. He was only 33 years old. Electricity stops the heart. Okay. And then two of Matt's friends, Brian Hillman and Chris Mertz, threatened me online, as it was clear they desperately wanted me to stop asking questions. They're both landmen too. All of this was very suspicious, but then I was sure after Detective Rosie Rodriguez asked me in an anger if I had electricity on the doors that I tie-wire shut on the night of the murder attempt. This was an odd and out-of-place question, since I hadn't told her about the electricity on my doorknob from 2 weeks earlier. The police were never called that night. My guess is that Matt's friends saw him get electrocuted, and they freaked out, knowing that if they called 911 to help save his life, then they would be arrested, since they were all breaking into my home, a private home. They chose to let him die and then tried to blame me for it. That's my guess of what happened. Revenge was the motive. That would explain the premeditated murder attempt from 2 weeks later. The problem is I can't find any good police, and everybody seems to be okay with Matt's friends helping to kill me. Brian Hillman married his widow, Leslie, that was Matt's widow, the only supposed witness to the surprise 33-year-old death. This guy has continued to threaten me, Brian Hillman has. I asked him where he was at on January 28, 2012, 2 weeks after that happened, and he said he didn't remember. Maybe he was under my home. Okay, what I did on the pictures here, this is the obituary. You can look it up for yourself. Matt Hyman, 33. He's a former landman, become an attorney. He worked for Cotton Bledsoe, Ty and Dawson. That's the city's attorney. Here he is, petroleum landman with a traded company, and I would highly suspect that the landman would be involved in the underground oil show parties. Okay, here's his sister-in-law, Natalie Sherry Hyman. How did he die? Was he messing with electricity? No. Do you remember the time of death? It was not. So nothing I asked her would eliminate him. It just furthered my suspicion that Matt had died inside my home. Okay, because he fit he checked all the boxes, and. And so here on my next comment, I said landman Chris Mertz and Brian Hillman didn't want me asking questions. This was posted on that day. I posted on Facebook. Here's Brian. Dude, you're barking up the wrong tree. I suggest you take this down immediately. Read the direct message I sent you. And then Maria, she's reading all this stuff and going, are they always threatening you like this, buddy? And here's a Chris Mertz. I worked with this guy. He's a landman, and here he is. Brian's a good man. You're posting bullshit. This will be face to face like a man. You got the balls. You post your crazy shit. See, so the slander, the lies, the violence. So you can hear it in Chris Mertz. This is a threats. What this is, and I'm a disabled crime victim. Okay. I said, and here I got a print screen. This was the first threat that I got from Brian Hillman via private message that day. And Brian says, this is my wife's late husband. That's where I find out, wow, he married the widow, the only witness, Leslie. I bet Leslie knows what happened that day. I can assure you none of this happened, okay? I suggest taking this down before I pursue legal action. My wife was with him when he died. I seen his autopsy. Take this down. There are lots of innocent mothers, brothers, sisters, children who don't need to see your bullshit today, okay? And so the desperate to stop me from asking questions, okay? And then this continued for years. This guy met me at the grocery store. I'm in there trying to buy groceries, and he comes up to me out of blue. I don't even know who he is, and told me to watch my back. Brian Hillman did. And I'm like, is that a threat? He suggests it is, and so I've highly, I've wondered if he was with Matt in my home when Matt died. Did he watch Matt get electrocuted, and then instead of calling 911 for help to try to save his friend's life, he didn't want to go to jail. He decided to let his friend die and then turn around and blame me, and I'm home minding my own business while they're breaking into a private home. Okay, and that's what I was suspected. Here's another clue, the big clue. I was at the ER minutes after being shot, telling Detective Rosie Rodriguez that I'd tie wire my spare door shut before being shot. I now know that this was on the day of the murder attempt. I now know that a burglar got trapped when I did this. She seemed to get angry and said in a hateful tone of voice, "Did you put electricity on it?" This out of place and odd question confirmed that Matt had been electrocuted in my home 2 weeks earlier, but the police were never called that night. My guess is the criminals who break into homes and the dirty cops helping them were trying to blame me for Matt dying in my home when I was the innocent homeowner under a home invasion. I have the right to protect my life and property, just like you do. They have no right whatsoever to break into private homes. I don't care how many dirty cops are helping them. Okay, here's a picture of my bathroom door. That's where I tie wired shut. When I got home from the hospital, I found these pry marks on the top of the door that wasn't there. That's how I know a burglar got trapped in this room on that night. And I think they've used that as justification to try to murder me in my home because this burglar was trapped. The truth is that burglar could have called 911, been arrested, and gone to prison for burglary of a habitation, a felony. They're committing a felony. Okay, and here's at the nurse's notes where I'm telling the nurse, the alarm's going off, sirens going off, there's a voice recorder. I was tie wiring the doors, okay, and I was telling Rosie Rodriguez that, and like I said, she got pissed. Boy, did you put electricity on it? Why would you even ask that question unless you knew I'd put electricity on the bedroom doorknob 2 weeks earlier? Okay, so that's where I'm suspecting that's what happened.